All right, welcome back, everyone, to the second episode of the Bright Lights podcast. I'm your host, PT, and my co-host, Mahoney.
What's up, guys?
And Deegs.
How's it going, everybody?
For today's episode, we're going to go over how the big college football games this weekend will affect the college football playoff race. We're going to give you our picks till Week 13 of NFL games, and we're also going to talk about the recent Robinson-Cano trade. Also, before we start, I also would like to thank all the love and support that we've gotten on our last episode. I think we're up to like 120 views on our episode. That's awesome, and it's kind of blown our expectations out of the water. So just going to say thank you. All right, so getting into it right away, college football playoff race. We kind of touched it on our last episode, and we've gotten some requests to touch a little bit more on it. So how do the games affect this playoff race? We have three big ones. We have number 1, Alabama, at number 4, Georgia. We also have 14, Texas, at number 5, Oklahoma, and number 21, Northwestern, at 6, Ohio State. We'll start off with the obvious one, Alabama at Georgia. This one is going to be, if Georgia wins, both teams will stay in the playoff. If Alabama beats Georgia, I think Georgia's out of the playoffs. That's just how I see it, and I believe that's how it's going to roll.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I made this statement last podcast. I'm going to stick by it. I don't think Alabama loses the game as long as Tua is their quarterback this year or next year. Georgia's a good football team. They dismantled my Kentucky Wildcats, unfortunately.
My Notre Dame team's looking pretty good.
Shut the hell up.
Well, we'll get to that.
Jacob Fromm, great quarterback. Holyfield, Ridley. They got a really good offensive scheme over there at Georgia. I agree with you. If they do lose to Alabama, I don't think they deserve to be in here just because they don't really have any key wins, and their only loss was an embarrassing loss to LSU. The question I have to ask you, though, PT, is if Georgia somehow pulls this monumental upset, as Alabama is 13.5-point favorites on the road.
Jesus.
How far do you think Bama drops? I agree they stay in the playoffs, but do you think the committee keeps the team that's dominated everybody all season at number 1, or will they drop to 2, potentially 3?
I believe that Alabama, if they lose to Georgia, I believe Clemson slides up to 1, with Notre Dame sliding up to 2, and I'll touch Notre Dame a little bit because they're in a kind of a weird situation too with not being in a conference.
Yep.
And I believe Alabama drops to 3, and then you have that 4th spot open, and it's going to be really interesting.
What if this is a close game? What if Bama loses?
I think no matter what, Bama stays in the top 2.
No, they're staying in the top 2, but I think there's a real solid chance that if they lose 27-24. Or like 31-28 on like a game-winning field goal, that they stay at number 1.
Yeah, if Alabama doesn't cover, it might give them enough evidence to keep Georgia in the playoffs. Just because I don't think a team's gotten close to beating Alabama this year.
I was talking about like what if Alabama loses 31-28?
No,
should have done.
I think they stay at 1. If it's a close game, I think they stay at 1.
I think they go down to 2. I think they go down to 2, and Clemson slides up. Clemson.
I could definitely say
Clemson's undefeated, right?
Yeah, they're 12-0.
Yeah, they'd be 1.
Their quarterback, phenomenal, Trevor Lawrence. Their wide receivers, that front 7 is nasty.
Yeah.
I agree. They would deserve the number 1 spot. I'm just saying.
What would the committee give it to them?
I strongly think that if Bama loses a close game on the road to a team that's 1 in the SEC and 2 the 4th best team according to the committee in the country, they might potentially stay at 1. Probably not, but there's a chance just because of how dominant this Bama team has been.
No, yeah, if Alabama loses, I see them dropping. Just I don't know how far, depending on a loss. But let's say that Georgia loses.
They're out. 100% they're out.
Completely out?
Yeah, because Oklahoma and Ohio State.
True.
So then we have this. So then we have this situation. We have Oklahoma playing number 14 Texas. Oklahoma's at home. So I say if Georgia loses and Oklahoma wins, I believe they slide up, even if Ohio State beats number 21 Northwestern at home. I just think Ohio State hasn't proven themselves enough this year. I think they beat a really good Michigan team. I just think Oklahoma's been more impressive this year, just overall.
Yeah, I agree with you too. If Georgia was to lose and Oklahoma beats Texas, I think they get in. Obviously, if they lose, I firmly believe Ohio State gets in just because what they did to Michigan last week. Plus, Northwestern's not a pushover team. I mean, they're not a great team, but they're not a pushover by any means.
They've had some really good ones this year.
Another reason why I think Oklahoma slides in is because the two best offenses in the country play against each other in Alabama and Oklahoma, and I firmly believe that the committee would drool over the fact of how many views that game is going to get.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray and Tua going at it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game.
Fantastic game. The two best quarterbacks, in my opinion, right now in college football going at it. So I agree with you. If Georgia is to lose and Oklahoma beats Texas, they get in. Now, this might be a little bit of a stretch here, but who do you think gets in if all three of those teams lose? If Georgia loses to Bama, which is probably going to happen, if Texas pulls off the upset, and if Northwestern comes on in and stuns the Buckeyes at home, because it could happen. I mean,
I agree.
Purdue beat them, and I just don't really trust that Ohio State team that much.
Yeah, man, that's hard. Who's at 7? Do we know who's at 7?
I'm trying to see right
7. Well,
Back check.
okay, so
Back check.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Everyone loses. I believe if Georgia doesn't lose by that much, like you were saying, I think Georgia stays in. If Alabama doesn't cover, then Georgia stays in.
This is really interesting because Michigan is at 7, and I don't know if you
after getting rolled by Ohio State like that,
you can't. You're supposed to be the top-ranked defense in college football, and you give up 60-some points. There's no way.
I don't think it's possible for them.
They got rolled.
They did get rolled.
62 points is unreal. Like that's almost a basketball score. But like I said, it could be really. That could be really interesting for the committee, I believe, and that would make it fun for me. I would love to.
I would get hyped.
I will drool over that just thinking about trying to come up with that 4 spot.
Wait, no, my Notre Dame boys not having a game this weekend.
Your Notre Dame boys, they're in a really, really difficult situation. I wouldn't say difficult, a weird situation. So them being independent, that doesn't give them a conference championship game. This could. I don't know if this could hurt them, or I don't think it helps them.
They're not.
It doesn't help them.
They're not dropping out.
Them, but it could hurt them. But I think no matter what.
I think the only way it could hurt them is if Georgia wins. That can move them to the 4 seed.
No, I honestly. I mean.
Yeah, if Georgia wins, they're most definitely moving up, and I believe.
Yeah, I agree. If Georgia wins, they go to 3. Notre Dame goes to 4. I don't think there's any way Notre Dame drops out of the top 4. But
I mean that we played Clemson then.
Well, it would be a fat L. In my opinion.
I'd rather face Clemson than Alabama.
100%, but Alabama's winning the whole thing. It doesn't matter. They're going to win.
You never know.
When it comes to Clemson, though,
they were tied with the Citadel.
And then they beat them by 42.
They
take away the 50 points.
No, yeah, but I'm excited. I really hope that. I think these 3 games will be really good this weekend. I'll be watching, and I know everyone else will be. It's going to be really interesting. I think if Alabama wins, it could make it difficult. But I think if Georgia wins too, that's there's so many just different possibilities coming out of these 3 games that will just be really fun to see what happens.
Do you want to give some predictions on these games?
Sure, man. I believe Alabama's going to win.
Big time.
That Texas game will be really good, but I think Oklahoma's going to win, and I believe I think everyone's going to win this weekend that should. Alabama, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. But I think the close game will be that Alabama-Georgia game.
Hot take, Northwestern's beating Ohio State.
Yeah, that would be my hot take, too. If I was to pick an upset out of these 3, obviously the Texas-Oklahoma is more logical because, Texas is the 14th best team in the country. Their defense can probably, I wouldn't say hold back Oklahoma, but maybe neutralize them a little bit. But, Northwestern's not a pushover team, like I said earlier.
No.
Ohio State doesn't really sell me as a team that is that good. They would not be number 6 if they didn't dismantle Michigan last week. Probably UCF would be there right now.
That was their best game they played this year, and I believe they roll over.
8.
UCF is 8, but they also lost their quarterback to season-ending injury.
Yeah.
And I just don't see them going anywhere.
So, for me, I got Bama easily. Probably they're going to cover the spread probably. Oklahoma, Kyler Murray's a dog. Should be the Heisman. He's going to go nuts. And I want to say Northwestern, really badly because,
I've got it in my heart. I trust the Wildcats.
I really want them to win this game.
That'd be awesome.
Just because, Ohio State just pisses me off for being there.
The Buckeyes?
Yeah, they just piss me off. I'm going to go with Ohio State at home. Dwayne Haskins is the baller.
And they're going to take that momentum. They
They beat their biggest rival. They beat the shit out of their biggest rival.
Yeah.
And the best defense in the country. They embarrassed them. So I'm going to go Ohio State, Bama, and Oklahoma. I think my Final Four is going to be Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Oklahoma. Just because I think
Georgia, goodbye.
I think Georgia with the loss, they're going to drop out. I think what Oklahoma's done, especially if they drop like 50 on Texas, Kyler Murray in that offense is too impressive. And it would just be a great game. You've got a solid defense in Alabama with tons of potential NFL players on that defense.
Yeah, agreed.
With their offense matched against that Oklahoma offense, potentially, I mean, they do average the most points per game. Kyler Murray's a baller. I would love to see him go up against a real legitimate defense who he'll probably see in 5 years down the line in the NFL. A lot of those Bama guys will be in the NFL next year. Or
who knows, maybe for your Steelers.
Yeah, hopefully. We need some good defense in Pittsburgh. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a fun weekend. Even some of the games that don't really matter that much should be pretty fun. Utah, Washington.
Yeah, there's some
Memphis, UCF. Fresno
big conference
State,
games. Big
Boise
conference games
State.
out there.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing in college football, obviously, is winning the national championship. But most people will tell you that they only care about winning their conference first. So these games will be good. So it'll be a good weekend of college football.
Agreed.
I mean, other than that, we can move on to the NFL picks now if you guys are ready.
Yeah, I'm ready for that. Let's go.
All right, PT, you want to explain it?
Get it going, baby.
Yeah, so we'll keep track of our correct guesses and wrong guesses too throughout the season. Just kind of see who's the dumbest and who's the smartest out of us three. But so we'll start off with tonight's game. We kind of all discussed it at lunch today. It's the Saints at the Cowboys right now. Right now, there's 8 minutes left in the second, and Dallas is beating the Saints 10-0. But we all agreed that the Saints would win this game.
Not looking too good.
I believe.
They'll be fine.
I believe this is kind of shocking right now to everyone that's watching this game and is an NFL follower. But, you know, like I said, New Orleans' offense is too high-powered. They're number one on my power ranking list. I believe they'll come around the rest of the game. So that's tonight's game, and everyone picked the Saints out of the three of us. So we'll move on to Sunday. We'll start with our noon games. Our first game up will be the Ravens at the Falcons. All right. I have the Falcons winning just because they're at home and the Ravens quarterback situation is kind of just screwed up right now, and we'll see what that goes.
I've got the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson's going to take the next step and really take over the team.
Unfortunately, I got to agree with you.
Yeah.
I hate Baltimore more than anything in this world, but
Lamar Jackson is
I
definitely
think Lamar
proving me wrong.
Jackson's rolling right now. I don't think the Falcons are going to find a way to stop him. Their defense has been hurt all season. Offensively speaking, Baltimore has a fantastic defense. They're going to negate a lot of the good things Atlanta does on offense. So it being a 1.5 point favorite in Atlanta, I think the Ravens should be favored in this game. They're the better football team. I think they're going to come out on top.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. Bills at Dolphins.
What a shitty game.
Yeah, this is not a good game.
What a terrible, that's a brutal game.
I'm going to take the Dolphins just because the sole fact they're home.
Yep, same. Dolphins. Home.
Yeah, I'm going to go Dolphins too.
And the Bills are just
Bills are trash.
I don't even want to talk. I don't even want to talk about this game. It just has no appeal to me. Broncos at Bengals. Bengals just lost Andy Dalton to IR. Broncos are coming off a huge win against Pittsburgh, and I have the Broncos winning.
I also have the Broncos winning.
Yeah, after seeing what they did to my beloved team last week. Thanks for emphasizing huge, by the way.
It was. I mean, Pittsburgh's a really good team, and the fact that they showed up.
Actually, they're coming off 2 back-to-back huge wins. They beat the Chargers the week before that, too.
Oh, yeah, wow.
They're rolling right now, and I see that continuing.
They basically have to win out to make the playoffs. They know what it takes. They're playing against Jeff Driscoll, who's been a backup his whole life.
Yeah.
I think Denver obliterates Cincinnati.
Yeah. Next game, probably another obliteration. Rams at Lions.
Oh my God!
This is another game that's just kind of. It's going to be a.
We don't even have to pick.
Yeah, it's going to be the Rams.
They're going to beat the hell out of them.
Yeah. This game could be decent. I just think that it's Colts at Jags. I believe that I'm going to have the Colts winning just because Andrew Luck and Eric Ebron have this amazing connection right now that's kind of
And Luck's
unstoppable.
on fire.
Yeah, Luck is playing really good right now. And I don't know if you guys saw Le'Veon Bell comment on his Instagram
I
post.
put that in the group chat.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. That would be pretty interesting.
Yeah, but I think that my hatred for the Jags is really going to come out this weekend because I cannot stand the Colts, but my Jaguars hate is way too strong. So I have the Colts winning.
Yeah, I hate Jacksonville a lot, especially as a Steelers fan. They pissed me off, but I know
They're a bunch of Jags.
I know Luck's rolling. I know that team is rolling. Marlon Mack is out, possibly, actually probably with a concussion. I'm gonna go Jacksonville.
You know Jacksonville?
At
You never know
home.
with Keenum.
It's Kessler, buddy. Cody Kessler. I'm gonna roll with the Jags.
Yeah.
No
just-
Fournette,
next
and
game.
I'm still rolling with the Jags.
Who's Keenum with? Because now I feel like
Denver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so another game that should be a blowout. We saw the Texans play really well on Monday night. Is Browns at Texans. I think they've won how many in a row? Eight in a row.
But I don't know.
I don't know, dude. I just think Texans are just playing way too good right now.
I think the Texans are going to win, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people are thinking.
Well, I mean, it's only a 5.5 spread. I mean, it's going to be a close game, but I think Texans will. That defensive front right now is dangerous.
Yeah,
J.J.
yeah.
Watt,
No,
Clowney,
yeah.
man, that's something special right there.
And they got the Badger.
Oh yeah, he was
You
huge
guys
though
both
too.
got Texans?
Yeah,
Yeah, you're going to take the Browns.
Of course.
No, I'm gonna go Texans, but I'm gonna go. They win like 17-14.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be very.
on some game-winning drive where their kicker kicks like a 50-yard field goal. The Browns are not a pushover at all. I think this will be a lot closer than we think. I know Houston's won 8 games in a row. They haven't. I'm not sold that they're really a good team yet. But so I'm taking the Texans at home. It's gonna be a lot closer than the spread indicates, and that a lot of people think as well.
Agreed.
I agree with that. So this next game, Cardinals at Packers. It's another shitty game. The Packers have only won at home this year, and so I think they're going to win another one at home just because how bad the Cardinals are. What's happening in Green Bay is I'm a Bears fan, but it's kind of sad. I love Aaron Rodgers. I just think it's kind of unfair to him. So I think Packers are going to win.
Yeah,
They're going to beat the Cardinals bad.
yeah.
Yeah, Rodgers is gonna go nuts, and they're gonna.
He's so mad.
He's
They're gonna
so
blow him out.
mad.
They're gonna blow him out.
He's so
Yeah,
mad.
he's definitely going to unleash some fire on the Cardinals. The next game, Panthers at Bucks. This is another game that's kind of it seems like it's a little closer than it is, but I think it's going to be another blowout. Panthers did not play well. They haven't been playing well
Period.
for a long time.
They haven't played well at all on the road.
Yeah, and it's. But
But
I
Newton's
just think-
limited at practice this week. He should still play, but he's been limited all week with that injury.
Yeah, I just think what the Bucks are doing with their quarterback position is just not good. The fact that you switch up quarterbacks every week is it's just
chemistry.
exactly. There's
terrible.
nothing. It's just not a good way to go. So that's why I have the Panthers winning. I think Cam just and McCaffrey. McCaffrey's been carrying. He's been putting them on their back and
Yeah,
carrying.
he's a
them.
beast.
He's been playing really well this year.
I've got the Buccaneers. Kind of just throwing one out there.
Honestly, this is probably other than the Pittsburgh game.
The only way that I could see the Panthers winning is McCaffrey going off.
Other than the Pittsburgh game, for me, this is probably the hardest one that I have to choose from. One, it's a divisional game. 2, Carolina's lost 2 close games back-to-back weeks. They went for it against the Lions. They lost. They lost last week to Seattle. They got destroyed by Pittsburgh. So I do agree. I don't think that situation with the quarterbacks is good for the Bucs. But on the other hand, it's a must-win game for Carolina. I'm going to go Carolina 3-point win. They have to win this game. I think McCaffrey's going to eat all over that defense. Newton's going to eat all over that defense. So I'm going to go Carolina. It's going to be a close game, but the Panthers have to win, keep their playoff hopes alive. So, yeah.
All right, the last game of the day for that 12 noon time. We have the Bears at the Giants. These are my beloved Bears. Trubisky is not looking to play.
He's not. I think.
And it's this game is going to be tougher. I think the Giants are better than the Lions than last week, but I do have faith in Chase McDaniels. I have the Bears winning because I think our defense will carry them. Our defense has just been playing stellar right now.
Yeah, agreed. I still think the Bears pulling out, but I think it's going to be a lot more stressful than that Lions game.
And that Lions game was a little stressful.
And this one's going to be more stressful, I think.
All right.
This one's not so.
A lot of you guys definitely know I'm not the biggest Bears guy, but Trubisky's out. The Giants are better than the Lions because the Lions are shit.
I put it through my heart.
I think this comes down to if the Bears can get pressure on Eli.
Yeah, I agree.
Make him uncomfortable, make him do the things he normally does, which is throw a lot of picks. I think Saquon's going to eat just because he's versatile. The dude can catch the ball well. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Bears.
Good for you.
21-17.
Good for you.
They'll get a pick six or some stupid defense.
Hey, Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson, baby.
Eli Manning is awful, and the Giants are terrible.
Yeah, I think
they're not as bad as the Lions. No, the Lions are awful at football.
I agree 100%. It's definitely going to be a test for us, and it's going to be a good game. All right, we'll move on to our afternoon games. First one, Chiefs at the Raiders. So we basically have the best team, one of the best teams in the NFL, and the worst team in the NFL. Once another game, another shit game. Yeah, I have the Chiefs. Yep. There's no question about it.
Yeah, Chiefs. Yeah.
I legitimately can see the Chiefs putting up 50 points this week if they want to. So I got the Chiefs. This is going to be a terrible game. I probably won't even check the score once.
Yeah, I agree. Next game, Jets at Titans. I've always been a big fan of Marcus Mariota and Corey Davis. It's been Monday night game was a little weird for them. I don't know what happened. They didn't really figure it out, but they had a big win against the Pats, and I feel like they can repeat that. I don't think the Jets are playing too well this year either, so I have the Titans.
I got the Jets.
All right. Another game, kind of hard to pick.
Yeah.
Two crappy teams. I'm going to go Tennessee just because Mariota played well on Monday, even though they lost. I think he's a good quarterback. That Jets defense is very good. Sam Darnold's coming off a foot injury. You never want to see a foot injury for a guy who likes to move around in that pocket. Tennessee at 5-6. They play in the AFC. Obviously, it's a weaker conference, so their playoff hopes are still alive. If they can string something together.
Yes. Agreed.
I'm going to go Tennessee, but it'll be a close game. It'll be a shitty game.
Yeah, that's another must-win for Tennessee too. So there's a lot of must-wins out for these teams this week. And you're going down the stretch, you got to win games. 49ers at Seahawks. Seahawks are playing really good football right now. Their defense is hitting hard. I made a comment to these two, and just when I watched them play defense, they were hitting hard. Their linebackers just were coming up and flying to the ball. 49ers, another awful team right now. And Seattle, like I said, is just playing good football. It's going to be Seattle that wins.
Like I said, a lot of these teams are playing for playoff spots. Seattle, another team, is playing for a playoff spot. If they can pull this game off, they'll be 7-5. The 49ers suck. I was a big Nick Mullins guy when he debuted against the Giants, but Russell Wilson's elite. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So I'm gonna go Seattle. I'm gonna go. It's not close. They're in Seattle. Yep. Never an easy place to play, regardless of what team. Their defense has been playing better. So Seahawks. All
right, and the last afternoon game would be the Vikings at the Patriots. This was the hardest pick for me this week. I had the Patriots at number 4. In my power rankings list after week 12. But I'm once again this Viking team is good. This wide receiving core is really good. Patriots offense just got Gronk back. I think it's gonna be a really good game. It's at Foxborough. That's gonna be really tough for the Vikings too. But I just see the Vikings beating the Patriots somehow. I don't know why. It's not gonna help my Bears out, but I see the Vikings win this game.
I see the Pats winning just because Pats are at home. It's going to be a great game either way. It's going to come down to the end, but I see the Pats pulling out.
Yeah, this year in the AFC, especially for someone who loves a team so much that's in the AFC as I do, it's been kind of weird. The Chiefs are the 1 seed. Normally New England is. Normally New England dominates everybody. They don't usually lose 3 games every year. I don't really think this Pats team is as good as everyone makes it out to be. They did just get Gronk back. Normally I'm like, oh, the AFC runs through New England, and I don't think that they're the best. I don't even think they're the second best team in the AFC right now. So, all that being said, after kind of shitting on New England, I'm going to go with New England just because they're at home. They did just get Gronk back. Kirk Cousins has kind of looked like shit this year.
Yeah.
We
don't like that. Bears fans like that.
Bears fans love
it. Vikings don't like that.
I don't really think he's that good. Their defense is hurt.
Whatever happened to Xavier Rhodes?
He's got like a lingering hamstring injury, which is really
it's been bothering him.
That guy's a baller, but
yeah, he is.
I'm gonna go New England. Gronk's back. Tom Brady.
Yep.
So.
Yep, I agree. So we'll move on to the night game. I believe this is the best game of the week. This is a really good game. We got Deke Steelers playing the Chargers. Steelers are at home. This one's the hardest one to pick from. I don't even have a pick right now. I'm still thinking. But if I would go with a team right now for that Sunday night game, it's at the Steelers. It's really hard to win Steelers. I'm going to go with the Steelers.
I'm also going with the Steelers because they're going to need to come back from last week, and they're going to come out strong, and they're going to be at home. They're going to have the fans. I think it's going to go Pittsburgh.
Juju Smith-Schuster, too. That dude's playing.
Juju's the man.
Yeah.
This game's in Pittsburgh, so I guess we got that going for us. The Steelers have to win this game if they want to make the playoffs, I think, because if Baltimore pulls it out, they're only a game back, and they have a much easier schedule than we do going out the rest of the season. A lot of things have to go well for Pitt. For starters, Melvin Gordon's probably not going to play.
Yep.
So as much as that sucks because, Wisconsin guy, it's obviously beneficial for Pittsburgh because their defense doesn't really cover the run that well. Offensively speaking, Big Ben needs to get his head out of his ass and stop making me kick couches because he throws picks for no fucking reason.
Hey, he won you the game 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, he sucks still.
Barreling up in there.
James Conner needs to learn to hold on to the football. I don't know why the hell Xavier Grimble is even playing on the team anymore because he's terrible.
All right, and that concludes Deke's
all
Steelers.
All of that being said, I'm going to go Chargers.
Wow.
Okay, but this is what he always does. Every Sunday he tells me that the Steelers are going to lose. It's just a thing he said, and that's why.
I'm going to give you an honest reason why. After watching what Phillip Rivers did last weekend, I know it was against the Cardinals. I know the Cardinals are a terrible football team. He's hot. He always plays well in December. Keenan Allen's a baller. That wide receiving core has speed. They have size. They have talent. They got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Tyrell Williams, all those guys. Their defense is back. Joey Bosa's back. Melvin Ingram's a stud. They're going to put pressure on Big Ben, and he folds under pressure. I mean,
so it doesn't look like I'm going to be watching the game with you. That's for sure.
The dude has a lot of game-winning drives in his career, yeah, but when it comes to in the red zone with the game on the line, he tends to throw picks. He tends to fold. So I'm going to go Chargers by 3. Unfortunately, it hurts my heart to say that. But yeah,
good for you. I'm glad that you came out with that, but I still think Pittsburgh's winning.
I agree. So our last game Monday night, Redskins at Eagles. I believe this is going to. Yeah, I believe this is going to be a pretty good game. It's a rivalry game. It's a conference game. I know Redskins are. They have Colt McCoy at their quarterback right now, who's not very good. It's just the Eagles have been probably the most disappointing team to me this year. They won the Super Bowl, won the Super Bowl last year, and they have not played like their team at all. It's just a different identity team. It's just not good. Being that though, Colt McCoy's not good. Eagles are going to win.
I also think the Eagles are going to win, just because they're going to bring it together against the Redskins. They're going to figure it out. They're going to be at home. Get the big win.
Yeah, it's a rivalry game. All the games between these two teams are always close no matter what happens. They don't like each other. All that being said, I got Philly winning. This division is terrible. I don't know why anyone can argue that this division is good because this division is terrible.
Well, I mean, look at your Cowboys right now. The Cowboys are beating up on the number one team in the NFL. They're about to sure you. It's 13-0, yeah.
I guess, but still, I don't think any of these. I think whoever wins this division loses in the first round of the playoffs regardless. The fact that whichever team wins this division could go 8-8 or 9-7 to win it. It's terrible.
That's awful.
Yeah, Philly has looked bad this year. Their defense hasn't looked good at all. They're short at corner. They're thin. Carson Wentz, he's looked good at times. He's looked really, really average at times. I just think they're going to win because Colt McCoy's trash, and Philly has to win this game.
Unless he turns into college Colt McCoy. Then they're in trouble.
It's not going to happen. It won't happen. All right, one last time before the night ends. We have the Robinson Cano trade.
Not official yet, but it looks like it's definitely going to happen. The Mets.
The second,
go ahead, Diggs. Just go ahead.
The second that you guys texted me this, that we could talk about it, I got a big smile on my face.
Oh, I'm so happy that we're talking about this.
Here's what I have to say.
This is my shit. Let's go.
Here's what I have to say. Love Robinson Cano.
Love him.
I've loved Robinson.
Even after the steroids, I still love him.
I have loved Robinson Cano for a really long time. I think he's a great hitter. I think he would have been a Hall of Famer. He still might be a Hall of Famer. If he had never used steroids, he would have been a Hall of Famer for sure. Edwin Diaz, big Edwin Diaz guy. I think he's nasty.
Yeah,
why would they trade Edwin Diaz?
I think he's nasty. I think he's like 26.
It's a fire sale, man.
Closer of the future for the Mets.
I guess, but when they came out with their fire sale,
they said he was untouchable.
They said he was untouchable, and here he is.
Well,
so I think the only untouchable now is Haniger, right?
No, and Gonzalez, I think, too. The pitcher.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But here's what I have to say. I think if Robinson Cano wasn't owed $30 million over the next 5 years, this would be a great trade for the Mets.
Whew.
If he wasn't owed that much money, it'd be a great trade. Because you get a great guy, a great hitter.
Look at what they're giving away, though.
I'm getting there.
All right.
And you get a solid closer who's 26, he's in his prime. He just came off, statistically speaking, one of the best closing seasons of all time.
Yep.
I think it'd be a great trade.
But
the fact that you are taking... How old is Robinson Cano?
20. What
he's
the fuck?
like 30. He's got to be like 30.
No, he'll be 41 when his contract ends. He's 36.
Yeah, so you're going to be paying a 36-year-old $30 million a year for the next 5 years.
31.
So when he retires at 41, he's going to have made almost $150 million. You're going to give away... Obviously, you have to give away Jay Bruce because his contract sucks. Jay Bruce is not good. Then you're going to give up your first-round pick of this year. Some combination of your first-round pick from this year, your first-round pick from last year, and your first-round pick from 2016. Jared Kelenic is a freaking stud, okay? I have never been more intimidated to pitch to someone.
Shout out Nolan Graff, my old teammate, struck him out.
I've never been more intimidated to pitch to someone in my entire life. And he hit a triple off me, and I was pitching him low and away the whole at-bat. I threw a ball in his ankle, and he poked it in the right field for a triple. And the two guys that they drafted in the 2 rounds before that, they're some of their best prospects. Like,
is McNeil part of this trade?
Yes. I don't
Why?
know why the Mets are doing this. Why do they think? And then the only way that this trade makes
and
sense.
they just released Patterson too. He got picked up by the Reds.
The only way this trade makes sense is if they're going all in for it, and then a report comes out 3 hours later.
Syndergaard's gone.
Syndergaard is getting traded. You might a lot of people expect him to.
They're confusing me.
What the hell are they doing? Why are they giving up their whole future, their future outfielder and 2 future pitchers for a 26-year-old closer?
I guess you gotta look at it though. They're in New York. They can't look at the future. They gotta look at the now.
They're the Mets. They suck.
They're in New York.
They're always going to be a little brother. Is Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz going to put them over the top?
No.
Especially
maybe get them to third.
No way.
Third, maybe they're definitely going to be third in their division no matter what. The Braves.
Why would they make the trade? Never mind.
The Braves are winning this division, and then Philly's probably getting Corbin and some combination of Harper and Machado. So what is Robinson, a 36-year-old who didn't play last year, and a closer he's a great closer, but relievers are very volatile.
They trade him at the deadline?
I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
I don't get it.
And Robinson has a no-trade clause. He wants to stay in New York. So even if you take on his terrible contract, you can't trade him unless he wants to be traded.
No, and nobody's going to want to... He's not like a deadline deal because...
$30 million.
Yes, exactly. Edwin Diaz, is he still on his rookie contract?
He's 26. I mean, good for them. He's a great closer, but still, you don't trade away your top prospects for...
Actually, time out.
Closer.
Why are we talking about the Mariners? The Mariners are stupid for trading Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, but the Mets are just stupid for giving away. If this trade goes through, the Mariners GM is a genius.
110%.
He's a genius. Dipoto.
Imagine they could figure out the deal without getting rid of Diaz.
They can't. They can because Diaz is like it's not the Robinson. It's
around his contract.
Cano trade because it's his contract, but really the best player of the deal is Edwin Diaz.
Edwin Diaz, yeah.
But even then, I don't think
you never know. Those 3 first rounders can end up being something really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, I know. Oh, yeah.
It's a bad trade for the Mets.
Awful trade.
So I mean,
30. How much is Bruce owed? Like 20.
Too much.
Yeah.
So he has to be on some stupid amount of money to make the money work. But yeah, this is a typical Mets move. This would be the next thing that they're going to do is throw like $50 million at Andrew Miller, and he'll be terrible. And then they'll go sign
Anibal Sanchez, 6 years.
Their GM said that they want to trade Syndergaard, and they believe that they can replace him by signing a free agent pitcher. Who the hell are you going to sign that's as good as Noah Syndergaard?
Evaldi.
He's not as good as
that good, yeah.
No, he's good. He's a great
No, not as good as Syndergaard.
But he's not as good as Syndergaard. He doesn't throw. He doesn't even throw as hard as Syndergaard does. Because Syndergaard led the league last year in average.
Could they do a little money ball action? Get rid of Syndergaard and sign
the Mets are terrible. Who are they going to sign? Edwin Jackson? That's Moneyball tactic.
No, that's not Moneyball
tactic. That's what the A's did last year.
No, that's getting guys that'll equal that one guy.
The fact that this front office and the stupidity that is going through their heads that they think that by doing this trade it makes their team better.
No, not at all.
And the fact that they think that they're giving up their future for Edwin Diaz, who was a great player, but I don't think you trade your future away for a closer. And Robinson Cano, who's owed $31 million.
Who even knows if Robinson Cano is still playing in 5 years?
This is such a Mets move, dude. And I don't even want to talk about it anymore because it's just pissing me off. But like, it's such a Mets.
You know what makes this deal? What kind of puts it together? Was Giraffe Neck Mark's tweet.
That was hilarious. You sent me that on Twitter, and I pissed myself laughing.
That was funny because
so
if you guys don't know, Giraffe Neck Mark is a Mets fan, and he loves his Mets, and he put a tweet out today of him screaming. Don't blame him.
It was hilarious.
Oh boy, a report just came out. Mets, Mariners close to deal. Here we go. This is like, the internet down here is awful. Okay. It would send Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz to New York in exchange for Jay Bruce, Anthony Swarzak, and 2 top prospects.
Wow.
Could you imagine if they gave up Peter Alonso for this?
Imagine if they gave up Kalenic.
No, but I mean, Peter Alonso is big league ready.
True.
19. He's a great prospect, but someone. Oh my God, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave up Peter Alonso. But still, I don't want to talk about the Mets anymore. They're terrible. They're worse than the Padres front office. They're worse than the White Sox front office. They're the worst franchise in baseball.
Hey, don't hate on Rick Hahn, baby.
They're the worst front office in baseball. They're the worst organization in baseball.
The Marlins
No,
are
I'm giving the Marlins over the Mets.
I don't.
Yeah, I am. Because just the stupidity that the Mets... At least the Marlins aren't paying a 36-year-old $30 million for the next 5 years. This would be like the Marlins just randomly deciding one day, you know what? Fuck it. Let's fucking trade Jose Fernandez for no reason. Let's just do it.
R.I.P., dude. Come on.
I'm just saying, like 3 years ago, that's what it would be like.
All right, that concludes our second podcast of Bright Lights Podcast. We all like to thank you for already liking or subscribing our last podcast. We thank you for listening, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. Like and subscribe below.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Perfect.